hello again.
Hi.
It has been many seconds since our last visit.
That's right, our last encounter. We're back.
Alrighty, so we've got a couple of fun ones now. We've got Chardonnay, which I've heard that word very many times. I typically think buttery when I hear Chardonnay. Is that because I'm an American and actually, okay.
Did you grow up in California?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No,
Texas boy.
Yes, we have white Burgundy today.
White Burgundy, okay.
So this is Chateau de Fuisse.
Okay.
It's our Puy Fuisse, which is Chardonnay. Okay. This winery, Chateau de Fuisse, they actually are based out of Fuisse. So just a gorgeous white Burgundy. When people say white Burgundy, that means Chardonnay. When they say red Burgundy, that means Pinot Noir. So two different grapes within Burgundy in the region. So,
okay, so a Burgundy is actually a place.
Yes, Burgundy is the region, and there's tons of little different appellations within.
An American one's going to be nothing but Pauladine butter, like as opposed to...
You know, actually there's some stellar wineries out in Napa and Sonoma that actually follow more of a Burgundian style.
Okay.
But don't get me wrong, I mean, there's a ton of wineries too that like the butter and the oak, and there's a lot of our consumers that love that too. That's just not what this wine is. This is going to be more, like we talked about with the previous wine, more of the minerality too. Ooh. Yes, so nice minerality, nice bright, acid-driven, just a gorgeous, beautiful Chardonnay that's super clean and fresh on the palate.
And you told me that there's a couple of different things that it goes with. I've got for you today a unicorn macaroon, which is just vanilla, but it looks nicer when you call it unicorn. I think this one's a really fun one. You told me go with milk chocolate and fruit, so I went with strawberry because chocolate for strawberries. No explanation needed. So we've got the white chocolate almond turtle here. No, sorry, we have a white chocolate almond tortue, which is French for turtle.
I love it.
But yeah, we got like a toasted almond in there. I figured I would kind of pull a couple of different things and then let you guide me through, tell me what did I, mess up on for something like this, and then what was like, Tony, you genius, and I'm gonna claim that it was on purpose.
This is a genius plate right here, all the way around. So let me go ahead.
Caught that on tape.
Noted. I'll go ahead and open the wine. Yes. So yeah, I'll go ahead and open our 2017 vintage of Chateau Fuisse, which is a screaming vintage, by the way. 2017. Yes.
What's a screaming vintage?
So screaming vintage means it is just all across the board a solid vintage.
Nice.
In years past in Burgundy, there's always a little bit of hail damage and inconsistent weather. But the weather gods were definitely shining down upon this vintage with the yields and the weather and the sun exposure, and it's just really clean vintage.
So for the next time I go to a party and I know, like, oh, this is a screaming wine.
Screaming
wine. I have tartrate.
Yeah, wine diamonds.
I've got wine diamonds. Yeah, that's my tartrate. And then now I have a screaming vintage. It's like,
that's yes.
They haven't had a lot of hail this year.
Right.
I'm gonna pull out all sorts of stuff now.
Yeah, pull it out.
Look very smart.
For sure. So Chateau Fuisse. And in fact, there is a chateau on the property where the family members have lived generation after generation. And it's like an old castle, and this castle was built in the 1400s. And it's really, really cool. I mean, we had a chance when we were with my company, Frederick Wildman, to go eat, dinner with
at the castle.
At the castle with these guys. And it's a really humble castle, and it's so cool. And there was
a very humble castle.
It was a humble castle, but they are just some of the best people. The family, the Vincent family, they're amazing. In fact, there was like a little wooden baby crib that each baby had slept in, generation after generation, right by the fireplace. Like, everything was just done to perfection, but just so modest and humble. And these guys are true farmers, true winemakers. Very fine. We have about 60% French oak.
Okay.
So yeah, French oak is used here, not American oak.
French oak and American oak is?
So mainly when people are using French oak with French wine, it's easy to source the oak that's from France.
That's awesome.
But now, mind you, over in Argentina, they can use American or French oak, but a lot of our American oak that we use, specifically over in California, comes from Kentucky. So that's kind of neat. And then the French oak will be from central France, but it's really where are you making the wine, what's going to be cost effective, but what's also like characteristic to the wine, and we don't want to manipulate the wine with something that doesn't go with the region.
And you told me that the butteriness will come from an American as opposed to, or like an American oak, or is that, what is that coming from?
So the butteriness actually, that characteristic comes from malolactic fermentation.
Obviously.
Obviously malolactic
Obviously
fermentation.
malolactic.
So think about turning an apple into milk. So you're softening that acid, therefore you have malolactic fermentation. So yeah.
Lactic, oh, okay.
Yeah, lactic, like milk.
I'm gonna look so smart when I go to a party. Okay. Like it really helps kind of like guide all the flavors into it now. No,
Yeah, you
does
channel it
not.
through the pinky.
Yeah, all right. Pinky out.
Yep.
Alrighty, so I'm jumping around. God, there's that minerality again.
You see how clean it is? It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
coat the tongue. There's nothing heavy. There's no funky aftertaste because these winemakers aren't manipulating the wine. They're not adding anything extra to the wine. Just like Hugel Riesling, it's from the vineyard into the bottle, no manipulation. Just the purest expression of the Chardonnay grape.
I have for you the finest of unicorn macaroons, or as the French say, macaron.
Mahon. Wonderful.
This is a little side note, but macaroon, 2 O's, is coconut in Italian. 1 O is French with almond, which is why we've got this, guys, because it's just a vanilla macaron. And it's just too pretty, though.
It is. Too pretty to eat.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Love.
Light
Love,
and
love,
fluffy.
love, love.
That's cool.
Super light and fluffy. I figured it'd play really well with, I guess I should swallow, huh? Super
Smell
light
it.
and fluffy. There's nothing that's kind of like bending you in one direction or another. It's vanilla. Do my fancy swirl.
That's nice.
But, yep, I was right.
Excellent choice.
Minerality behind that launches the damn thing forward, which I now know is like a waterfall or stones in a
Wet
river.
stones. Yes.
I can taste the wine, right? But like when someone is tasting wine, that's a different thing. It's when people are like sipping on it in a funny way and holding it up against the light. What, like, how much of that can I like pop this bottle open and pour into a Dixie cup versus like why I'm using like a glass?
That's a great question. Yeah, so glassware is key.
Okay.
To me, it's key with any liquid,
Okay.
honestly. So, you know, when you have your Chardonnay, we always do a little bit of a smaller glass because it's not gonna have huge, big bouquet. It doesn't need to aerate at all. You don't have to swirl it and, you know, have a lot of air come in contact with it. It's just ready to drink, ready to go, right? So then when you have your red wine, you need a bigger glass with like you can even do like a more concentrated nose here with the glass and the bulb.
I love your terms. Nose and I don't know how you're like think with her later today.
But yeah, you need a bigger glass to swirl and aerate it and really capture the nuances within the red because it's going to be usually more heavy unless it's not oak aged. So where the white wines are a little more delicate, so you need a little bit more delicate glassware.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know, even think about champagne. What are we drinking with champagne? We're drinking a flute so we can have the bubbles rise and not mute them, right?
When did people stop using the I don't know,
The coupe?
coupe? Yes. Like what?
Like after Prohibition.
Okay.
But
Because
I love the coupe. I think it's so
Really?
elegant and so cool, even though, you know, you don't get to see the neat finesse of all the bubbles, like 1 million plus bubbles.
I feel so much classier
I
with
do
like
too.
a big like
Yeah,
like I
it
should
feels
have like a
so-
really long like plastic cover on a cigarette or something.
Right, exactly.
Cruella de Vil,
Tuxedo.
while I have like a yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say I'm like I feel like Cruella de Vil, you're like a tuxedo. Yeah. That's what I meant with the tie.
No, the
and-
coupe is super cool. And, you know, even with some of our red wines, I'll just do a good, like, little tumbler, stemless.
Okay.
Good for guests so they don't break all your stems, because I've had that happen so many times. So a tumbler is nice, too, and you can do that with red or white. But, yeah.
Sorry, a tumbler?
A tumbler, yeah, just a stemless glass. So remove this and you have a tumbler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Do that.
it's awesome.
Alrighty, and then my favorite of all of the things ever is the chocolate covered
Gotta have our
strawberry.
fruit, yes.
Yeah, you said fruit along with this guy. Now, this is a red fruit. More often than not, my brain goes to red wine, red fruit. Are we allowed to do this?
Oh, we are allowed.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much anything goes.
I'm gonna either way.
Definitely with Chardonnay, I would not recommend a dark chocolate at all due to the bitterness. I would go to like white chocolates and chocolate covered fruit, milk chocolate.
Light with the light, dark with the dark.
Exactly, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
We're like Jedis. I'm gonna go with the entire way through, sorry.
Okay, all the way. Yeah, it's really fresh and clean, just like this wine. Perfect pairing.
And I went with a milk chocolate on that one. It's okay to use. It doesn't have to be white chocolate to go with the white wine.
Yeah, because milk is still pretty mild.
Yeah, it's still got like a nice soft sweetness to it. It's not yelling at you in any way.
And then you have the acidity and the freshness of the strawberry too, so it kind of counterbalances that.
I'm so sorry, I feel so bad. I'm like, let me just have another glass.
You should feel bad. I'll just drink my sparkling over here.
That's nonsensical. That's really, really, really good.
It's fantastic.
How long have you guys been working with the Chateau?
You know, they're
Say
actually...
it for me one more time, too.
Chateau Fuisse.
Fuisse.
They are...
F-U-I-S-S-E.
Yes, because the chateau is in the town of Fuisse.
Is that what that means more often than not? Is like Chateau...
What town are you from? Yeah.
So it's like Dallas County, basically.
Or your last name. What's your last name?
Okay.
Yeah, like Chateau Rothschild.
Do people get to have like, I've always wanted something like that, where it's like the city of Tony or something. So it is like the chateau of like...
Yeah, it's like, what's their history? Exactly.
Awesome.
It's really, really
At the
cool.
modest castle, though. It's a modest.
Modest and
It's
humble.
a very, very humble castle. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, it's great. But no, Frederick Waldman, this is one of our shareholders, so we've carried them for quite some time, so very special.
You take the wines from your shareholders, obviously, and then you go and you taste with them, or like, do you do what you're doing with me right now? Because I imagine they have much more knowledge than I do on something. So how much can I like walk in and be like, oh, you have to taste the Fuisse?
Yeah.
You have to taste the Fuisse, it has these notes. Can that person then like taste it inside their head, or do they still need to sit down and taste the wine, right?
Yeah, usually, I mean, like I've said, I've been with Frederick Waldman for 7 years, so I know the taste of it like the back of my hand, but now every vintage is going to be different. So I definitely like to go to our barrel tastings in February, whether they're in San Francisco, LA, New York, or Boston, and taste the fresh vintage that they have available. Then we get the firsthand knowledge from our winemakers and winery owners, and then I can relay that to the customers and our distributors.
I've seen in movies bottles that are 100 years old, right?
Yeah.
So what, obviously, so it's like it's fermenting, it's building up flavor, it's jumping around inside of the wood, pulling out characteristics from it. Pieces of the wine that you don't want are being laid into the wood. But like 2017, that's 3 years. This wine is nonsensically good. How much do you have to age something? Why would you age something for that long? Is it important? Is it like, what's the...
It depends on the varietal and the region. I mean, you look at wines from Bordeaux, the red wines for Bordeaux, and you are aging those for decades upon decades, right? And then you have...
It's because you said the mineral content in the soil, or you said the region? What like...
The region, the grape, the oak barrels, just traditional style, yeah. And then the white ones you want to drink a little earlier, except for, you know, if it's a good Riesling or Gewürztraminer or like Hugel, you can age those a little longer. But yeah, we keep these kind of fresh and nice. These do have great ageability, but might as well just pop them.
Because this guy, like, I was born in Texas, right? So it's 100 more degrees outside.
Yes.
This guy can take outside, like, because normally I think Chardonnay, and I'm thinking a little bit more of like, oh, okay, I should be having like a buttery pasta dish at home at night, like by myself. But this I can take outside right now, and I wouldn't be dying in the heat. Like,
no, not at all. Yeah, it's a nice patio sipper as well. You don't have to have something paired with it, although food is always nice with alcohol, so you don't get drunk.
Agreed.
But yeah, and it just enhances the wine.
God, that's insane.
Yeah.
Is there a way that I can go into a place and kind of, like, I know I'm cheating, but like, can I walk into a place and look around and tell how like a bottle looks, whether or not the wine's gonna be any good inside of it?
No. Mystery. And I forget what percentage it is, but maybe it's like 80% of women shoppers, like female shoppers, go off the label for their purchase.
That's like, I walk into a place, I look for the price, I look at the bottle, and I'm like, oh, cool, that one looks like it's exactly for me.
Yeah.
But you're telling me I should read.
Yeah, read. Yeah, read. Look at the region, look at the grape. Yeah, look at where it's coming from.
Okay.
And, you know, nowadays people just look it up on
I was
their
about
phone.
to ask.
What are the ratings?
Is there an app that you use or something?
Yeah, I think it's Venus is a good one.
Venus?
Yeah, and always get on like Wine Spectator for all of your
that's what I use a lot of.
Your accolades.
The Wine Spectator, okay.
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
And that's why you're gonna find out whether or not it's any. What is like a rating that you wouldn't drink below? Because I've seen like 1 to 100. I've never really seen a 1 ever be sold.
I've never seen any
like,
below, I think, 87 or 86.
Okay, so it's like a really tipped scale.
Yeah, like high 80s and above, you're good.
Because you wouldn't tell anybody if you got below.
But, you know, not to be biased, but there's a lot of people who don't care about ratings because it's all about what you like. So, yeah, who cares what someone else is rating the wine at? Like, what do you think about the wine? It could be like a 85 to them and a 92 to you. But yeah, I'm not super
because
into
how
ratings.
am I supposed to be able to, okay, so just ignore
I'm not into the
of
ratings too much. No, I'm just really not. It's like, do I like it? What food am I having?
My rating.
Who am I drinking it with? It's my rating. It's my palate. Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
It's my wine and I want to drink it. No, that's awesome.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, what is my tongue like?
So if you were to have a perfect meal with this, what's that meal?
You know, I would start off with an awesome like charcuterie board.
Awesome.
That's what I would
awesome.
do first.
Awesome.
And then maybe
so
just
some sort of like a, are you talking like a super fatty like salami or something like that, or are you what do you mean?
I personally am a prosciutto girl. I know that's Italian, and this is totally French, but
preach.
I need that salt.
Okay.
I just need it. And I would do like a soft cheese, a hard cheese, and then like a little funky, stinky cheese.
Okay.
That's what I would do. And some plain crackers, maybe some fruit, maybe some like peach chutney and some fig. Yeah. And then I'd move into like a maybe light cream sauce or buttered pasta. That's what I would do. Just kind of keep it light and simple as to not overpower the wine.
Mouth is literally watering. I'm like trying to wipe off.
And then I would end with this, all of this on this plate.
yeah, exactly. That's like half the fun of what I get to do.
Yeah.
You know, oh, woe is me. I have to bake.
I have to eat chocolate and drink wine. That's hard.